Alright guys, so we're here with Liang Yue herself, our newest limited unit, and this is what she's going to be doing. This is what she looks like here. I really do love her I2 art. It looks very cute, and she is, you know, always on call. She's always on the call. Anyway, let's go and talk about what she does, and let's talk about what she's all about. So a brief general TLDR about what she does is she is a special limited follow-up DPS unit who has a special effect built into her card with her ultimate, which is called Qiangliang. Now Qiangliang is a special summoning effect that she gets from her ultimate that allows you to get special colored talons based on the positionings of your own cards. This is an effect that is applied to all teammates. So the more teammates you have, of course, the bigger the spell deck of your cards are going to be, which means you get more instances of being able to consume that effect, which means if you use a card that's going to be in the green effect, you get +1 buff. So that means if you use Vila's Song as a prime example, which normally is a 2-turn buff, if you use it while influenced by that green talent effect, it becomes 3 turns, which is really good. This is going to be effective for pretty much every single buff in the game, which is really powerful. If you also cast cards in a red incantation, this gives you a Justice Talon, which also gives your card a +1 incantation effect. So it goes from basically 1 star to 2 stars, or 2 stars to 3 stars, which is very strong because that means your damaging skills can of course deal more damage, because these effects are triggered before the resolution of the card. So that means when it loads up into your spell deck for the cards that you're going to be using for that turn, those are when its effects are immediately activated. Of course, green is going to activate on cast, and red is going to resolve as soon as they're loaded into the spell deck. So as soon as you load them and you start that turn, that's when they get that rank up, and this is going to be really nice. Now, Liang Yue is a little bit complicated to understand, so I will try to summarize it as best as I can as I read off her inheritances and everything. So please bear with me on this because it is a little bit of understanding that has to go with her kit, because she's not the most simplest character to play. So let's talk about her. Insight 1. While nearby Qiangliang status, which is her ultimate, after casting a Qiangliang enhanced incantation, gains 1 justice or peace talent. After actively casting an incantation from the overlap section of the spell deck, you will gain 1 or 0.5 of justice and peace talents. When reaching 6 justice or 6 peace talents combined, consumes 6 of these talents to cast a Bane of All Evil. So this is basically what you're going to be getting. When you are in the Qiangliang status, which is our ultimate, which effectively really only lasts 2 turns, when you can really get these justice and peace talents, which is a big problem. I'll talk about that in just a moment. You can get these talent effects based on the cards you cast. If you cast green, you get peace. If you cast red, you get justice. And if you're in the in-between, the little middle part of where both the field effects kind of overlap with each other, you get balance. And balance basically is a much weaker attack. But if you see here, Bane of All Evil Justice, you get basically a really strong attack that's converted into a rank 2 incantation that has critical rate and to critical damage overflow built into it. And for each justice talent you consume, you get an additional crit rate of 5% and an additional crit damage plus 20% and damage dealt plus 10%. Very powerful skill, and this is AoE effect too, so that's really strong. And for every justice talent this attack justice or peace talent attack consumes, you get Guardian's Resolve, which is her buff that she can grant to teammates, which actually is a damage taken reduction effect, which stacks up pretty quickly. By the way, you can really get this up to 30 stacks quite quickly. So but yeah, if you do the peace one, this is a 400% AoE as well, but this one has based on the amount of negative statuses that's on the enemy. So if you have poison or burn, which is the main 2 providers, you get a different effect. So for every stack of poison, you get an additional 10% damage dealt up, and for every stack of burn, you get 3% penetration rate. Now with this burn effect, it's actually possible to give her full 100% penetration if you have all 30 stacks of burn on the targeted enemy, which is easier said than done. I mean, there's some units that can actively put it off, like Jay, for example, who can distribute all his burns to an enemy, or to the enemies, I should say, because of his ultimate. But of course, if you're running a general in burn team, you probably won't have 30 because of how burn works. Again, pretty gimmicky status. Poison's a little bit easier to get to because of units like Tuesday, who can just dumpster truck a bunch of poison on units. So and if you combine her passive effect, which also allows you to potentially poison things, I mean, it's pretty easy to get 8 stacks, and then that's basically effectively damage delta plus 80% on this skill, which is really, really strong. And yeah, both of her strong follow-ups are really good. Both Justice and Peace are pretty good. Balance, however, is it gives you this effect called Swift. It gives you this effect of Swift Resolve, which gives you one less for it gives you one less requirement for Bane of all evil, but the attack itself is fairly weaker. It's half the modifier of both Justice and Peace being at base 400 modifiers. But you get these different effects based on Swift Resolve, and that's really cool. It basically just acts as an additional power up for the next one that you're going to be doing. You don't really get to see balance too much because of just how cards will end up working. Sometimes you may get the balance, but it's not really a requirement of things. So as I said before, for every Justice or Peace talent you consume, you get Guardian's Resolve for 2 rounds, which of course is damage taken reduction. And while Arise Qiangliang, when Arise Qiangliang ends, all Justice and Peace talents are cleared, and for every Swift Resolve along you, it's converting to 3 stacks of Guardian's Conversion, or Guardian's Resolve, my bad. Now, the big problem with this is effectively a bit of a DPS loss, right? With Qiangliang, with Liang Yue and Qiangliang, you want to be an ultimate as much as you can. However, the base, which is P0, you only have 2 turns to really accumulate talents. So that means you're really only seeing anywhere between 1 to 2 follow-ups, depending on how lucky you can get with talents, which is a thing. It's mostly just 1 per turn, which is, it's up there. It's decent. Again, the follow-ups are still good, but once you lose those talents, that's a bit of a loss, because if you're like at 3 talents, you could have had a follow-up for next turn, then you lose it. So that's a bit of an inconvenience for that, but you don't lose anything else. If you have Swift Resolve, then you do lose that effect, which is actually pretty bad, because Swift Resolve does give you some pretty nice effects for the Justice and Peace talent follow-up attacks. So there's that. But for the most part, you do want to trigger her ultimate as much as you possibly can. And in the video, in the showcase portion of the video, I'll try to do my best to explain how quickly you can get to using the skills and everything like that. Insight 2 gives her crit rate plus 10%, and her Insight 3 gives her Moxie plus 3 for self. This is really good too, because again, with her wanting to be an ultimate as quickly as she wants to be, basically you go turn 1 with using her buff and an attacking card just to kind of get the Moxie going, and then you could just cast ultimate literally next turn. If you get it to P2, then it's automatically plus 5, which means you can basically ultimate turn 1, which is, just better for acceleration. I'll talk about that when I get to the Portrays section though. Let's talk about her skills. So this is her ultimate, which is a mass attack, 200% reality damage, and grants immunity to all allies for 1 round. Very good, because immunity is actually pretty important for certain stages and reveries. It grants 6 stacks of Guardian Resolve for all allies for 2 rounds, grants Arise Qiangliang to self for 3 rounds. This is technically 2, because the effects don't trigger until the next round. And if the unit is already in this status, extends the duration to 3 rounds. So this is one thing that you really want to do when you're using Liang Yue. You really want to get into ultimate as much as you can, so that way you can keep the Arise Qiangliang buff going as much as you can. If you don't have the ability to do so, most likely if you're running P0, then it's okay, because again, the only thing that you actively lose is the talents. That's it. You don't lose the Guardian's Resolve, you just lose the talent effects that you had accumulated, which of course can kind of slow down your DPS a little bit, but you can still hit some really good numbers with her regardless of you not having the talent. So remember that. That's the thing that you really, really want to make sure that you're paying attention to. But yeah, this is her main attacking skill, which has a maximum modifier of 500% with a penetration rate of 80%. Base level 1 doesn't have any, but level 2 has 30, and then this one has a big 80% penetration rate. And this extends the effect of Guardians Resolve all allies for 1 round. And if Liang Yue's in the Arise Qiangliang status, you will actively gain 1 Justice talent when using this attack, which is nice. And then this is our buffing skill, which grants Guardian's Blessing, which gives you damage dealt plus 25% and damage taken minus 25%. Really, really good. And at the end of the round, you would cast Banish Evil based on the incantation level of the skill. So basically, if you do this, right, if you do level 3, then you get a level 3 cast of Banish Evil on the targeted attacker with the lowest HP after a successful cast. The remaining deduction gets deduced by 1 round. Otherwise, no duration is deducted. So basically, depending on where you end up with this skill, you just get a stronger follow-up, which is going to trigger this skill right here. That's really just it. That's really just what it's for. It's just at the end of the round you get a special follow up. So anyway, let's talk about her cube choices. So for general DPS purposes, you want her own cube. Her own cube is really, really good. I don't have it yet because I don't have the polarizations to max it. But if you want an alternative, Juice Cube is pretty fine because you are going to be able to use this effect to trigger a single target follow that counts as an extra action. So this means you can accumulate the critical damage and the crit rate effects of this card quite consistently without much issue. Another really good card that you can use if you're relying on the green path, which is the Peace Talons, then you can actually go Blasphemous of Night because this gives you damage dealt plus 24%, and that's really, really good. But if you want just a in general purpose option, I would just go Outside the City because this is still something she can really accumulate very, very well. And of course, if you have her own cube, that's easily the best in slot option. Would recommend it because it gives you both crit rate, crit damage, both into the card, kind of similarly to what this cube does. So if you're able to do that, then that's just fine. Let's talk about her Portrays. So her Portrays, P1 is very, very, very important because it extends the duration of Qiangliang, Arise Qiangliang for 4 turns. This basically means that you turn it into 3 turns, and the size of each enhancement round is enhanced to +4. So this means that you don't really have, like when you pop the ultimate with Liang Yue at P0, there's a little bit of an overlap where none of the cards are being influenced by the Talons. This means you always have a card that's going to be influenced by the Talon, essentially, which is really nice because that means you don't have to move around any cards or preemptively hit a skill just so it lands in a Talon field. So that's a really nice little quality of life there. P2, as I mentioned earlier, gives her automatic Moxie +5, which is really good. And the Bane of All Evil trigger is reduced from 6 talents to 5 talents, which means you can follow up a little bit more consistently. And yeah, Call of Thunder 305, which is the ultimate effect. The immunity effect is increased to 2 rounds, which is fantastic. Again, great for reveries. And the Saxo Guardian Resolve is increased to 12, which is really good because it means more damage taken mitigation. At P4, she gets Empower Incantations boost to Banish All Evil, which becomes a 240, 360, 600% modifier, and the penetration rate is boosted from 0, 40 to 100%, and Guardian's Resolve stack is increased to 40, and the damage taken reduction is upgraded to 1%. So 40% damage taken reduction is really strong. Again, really, really good. And then P5 is specifically for the Bane of All Evil follow-ups, which boosts their follow-ups to 600%, which is really strong. Critical damage is now boosted up to 30%. And Poison, this is boosted, the damage that is boosted at 200. And the reality damage for each effect of the balance effect is the reality damage is 300% instead of the 200% modifier. So again, being just as half as the other one. Swift Resolve is upgraded to 3 stacks, and for each stacks you would get additional reality damage of 80% for the main Bane triggers. So that's really, really nice. But for what it's worth, if you really wanted to go for dupes for Liang Yue, again, I recommend P1 over everything. P1 is easily going to be your great stopping point. Go P1, call it a day, and you can just chill there. If you really want to just a little bit more extra quality of life, you can go P2. But in terms of overall best, I would say P1 because this is going to help tie into an issue that I have to talk about with the ultimate when we talk about the showcase. And for Resonance builds, this is primarily the build that you want. It's just standard crit build. This is all you want. If you want to upgrade the main piece, you can actually go into this path right here, which is Incantation Might. You don't really need Ultimate Might on her because her Ultimate isn't really the focal point of her damage. Her skills are. So I would just take the one that gives Incantation Might bonus. But this is what Liang Yue does. That is her skills. That's everything there. Let's go into some showcase content. Let's use her in a stage. Alright, so this is going to be what we are doing right here. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be doing 350-3. And this is a good stage to kind of show off Qiangliang's power right here. So let's go ahead and do what we have to do here. And yeah, so for this stage, we have to kind of kill this Scepter because this is going to be blocking the mental damage that we can do to the boss. So we just need to kind of kill this guy first. So let's go ahead and do this for the +1 AP. Let's set up you. Actually, let's do a little bit different. Let's debuff first. And yeah, so That's going to give us a rank 1 cast of the skill, which is completely fine. Next round, I should go for just a random skill on Flutter Page just to kind of help her out. That 4 Moxie, I think she has. She has 4 Moxie now, I think. Yeah, 4. That's perfect. Alright, so we need to do... So now we can go for a Rise Qiangliang. Now, you could choose to... You can either choose to technically reroll here to get 2 of Liang Yue's actions. The reason why I recommend that you can sometimes do this is because, again, you want to be an ultimate as much as you possibly can. And with the proper setup, if you want to consistently loop, you kind of need Flutter Page to make it work. Because, again, I'm going to explain once I kind of get the 2 cards I need. Just give me 2 actions. Perfect. So I have this. I can go this. I can go this. I can do this. And I'll just do this for the heal. And then the next turn, I'll show you guys what I mean. There we go. She's going to trigger her follow-ups. And that's going to give us some healing. I don't think he does the Moxie disruption attack this turn. I don't think he does. Okay. So, let me see. Does he? Okay, he doesn't. Perfect. Alright, so now you see here we have the field effect going, which is this is our peace talents, these are our justice talents, right? So as I said before, skills that are placed in here will primarily be boosted based on here. So all of these cards, if I cast them in this following turn, will get a +1 AP effect, right? If I cast any of these cards here, then they get a +1 duration to buff. So what's the best here? It really just depends on where your cards fall. You can try to go for some rerolls to see if you can maybe get a better landing for your card, just so you can get a little bit more optimal damage or anything like that. I wouldn't really recommend it because sometimes you may need to save your reroll, or you may need to save for a rank up too, because that way you can force a level 3 with the combination of this effect. So that's kind of that. And you see these 2 cards in the middle, which is Flutter Page's buff and Flutter Page's buff and the buff for Liang Yue. They aren't influenced, because that's the kind of the middle overlapping effect. This is what the +4 effect that I was talking about before with the P1. But now let me explain the big problem here. Now, if I were to use just these 2 actions, so if I were to buff and then attack with Qiangliang without any sort of influence of extra additional Moxie, I'm going to run out of my ultimate, because I need the next turn to get the 5th Moxie, then to cast the ultimate again, which basically means I would lose my talons, right? That is where the problem comes in. This is where the AP negative nature of Liang Yue comes into play, because you need to consistently have that going for her. Now, what's the best way to circumvent this? It's honestly with Flutter Page. I don't think I can really recommend a different alternative. You could also try to force rank ups by using, like, if you're lucky enough to land on certain cards, like, you can do that. But for example, I can do something like this and still have 4 turns to kind of achieve what I need to achieve. So I can go this and get a level 2 follow up. I can do this just for the extra effect of that. And you see these little talons right here. This is what's going to trigger my follow-up, and this is going to be based on how much I have. As you can see, I have a majority justice talons, so that means at the end of the round I should be able to trigger a justice follow-up. That's what it's going to be looking like. So let's go ahead and cast this just to keep our +1 AP going. We kind of need that, by the way. So long as we don't run into any Moxie disruption this turn, which I don't think happens this turn. I could be wrong, though. I could totally be wrong. Yeah, that was the balance effect. So the next follow-up that we're going to do is actually going to do some pretty decent damage. Nice. 43k off Flutter page. Holy shit. She's cooking. Wait, did it revive? Already? Aw, man, dude. And it did do the Moxie Disruption, unfortunately. Which is bad, because now that means we lose our Swift Resolve. Yikers. Alright, that's fine. I guess we can go for a double rank up here, maybe. I think that might be the strat. We go for a double rank up just to kind of push as much damage as we possibly can get. So let's do this. Get our level 3. Level 3 of this. We can do that as well. So yeah, we're gonna. Oh yeah, we also get the one less requirement because of the Swift Resolve. So we can at least hit our Swift Resolve effect going. We can do this. Actually, yeah, we'll do that. All right, so we will. This we will. I kind of really want to do this first. I think I have to do it this way though. I kind of have to. That way I can make sure I majorly get the Justice Talents and stuff. I guess we will just do this with you, just to give you more cosmic energy. It sucks though that we unfortunately got hit with the Disconsort. If we had the immunity, I think we would have been fine, but there's the follow-up. Okay, Flutter page is spinning. Okay, so now we have ultimate back up again. We don't have any Qiangliang cards, which is a problem, because we do need to get those going kind of ASAP-ish. Nice. Can we kill what for 2-2? Or never mind, Flutter page got it. She got it. She said, "Let me cook. Let me cook." We have one. Okay, problem possibly. So now we can focus down the main boss now, actually. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'll keep this actually. Buffing you. So we probably won't be able to loop the ultimate this time. This is just kind of to make sure that we stay up on our stuff here, so. Alright, so we have only one card again. Annoying. Annoying that. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. Alright, so we can get a rank 3 follow-up here, which is nice. We can do sure, and do I want to just get more Moxie for you? To kind of go back into your ult? Or do I want to just... Yeah, I'll get more Moxie for her. I don't think that's really not a bad problem. That shield's kind of eating. That shield is eating. There we go. That's a strong follow-up. That was a 98k, not bad. Alright, so we can for sure get the ultimate next turn though. I could this into this for rank 2 and then that and then Sure. We'll do it just to get the ultimate back going. There's a trigger. There's the follow-up. So we should be able to get rid of the staff, the specter next turn. So all right, boom. So now we have to go back into our stuff. Let's get back into our bag. Hopefully we can get 2 skills. Let's try to go for another disconsort round 2. I mean, not disconsort, the buff. Looks like we can only get 1. Unfortunate. Let's just pop it then, and then let's just reset up what we need. I'm pretty sure Liang Yue's ult will kill here. Or not. Thanks, Liang Yue, for making me a liar. Alright. Ooh, 3 cards. Really good. That kind of makes up for what happened previously. We did lose Mox this turn, which is a little annoying. A little annoying. I will not lie. I will not lie. I think I might just do this here to get the extra extended effect of that. Can I? Nope, I can't. Do I want to get the +3 for the 3-star follow-up, or do I want? I think I kind of want the follow-up, to be honest. I kind of want that. Sure, let's buff. Let's this, which I think has a dispel button to it, right? Yeah, it dispels. All right, so sure, let's this for heal. Let's get the level 3 of this. Yeah, I can't even afford to move, unfortunate. I wanted to move again just so I can get the automatic effect, but unfortunately I won't be able to. Okay, and the Spectre's back, which is annoying. We have to get rid of the Spectre. We can do it this turn though. We can go for one more rank 3. So that's this, so we can get it into the rank 3. Let's, I guess this is overlapping. These two are overlapping. I don't think I want to overlap. This might be a, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, fine, we'll go ahead and do that in there. Damage, yes. Buffs, yes. Big damage, yes. Follow up strong, yes. There's a lot of yesing I just did. All right, nice. We got the big damage because of Flutter Page's splash effect. So boss could die this turn. Could potentially die this turn. So I guess we can just go ahead and just go for this for the spelling, this just to get our Rise Qiangliang stuff going, this, and I should actually set up the Flutter page thing there, but I forgot. I forgot. I mean, the fight's almost over anyway, though, so. Nope, no kill. Alright. We're gonna do this the difficult way. Actually, we need to get double of what's the name. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, this actually works out. And we should kill here? If we don't, then... I mean, we still have 3 more turns before it goes into Frenzy. So, we should be fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this kills. Yeah. And there he goes. We'll still attack the knight, but as soon as the turn basically ends, that'll be the end of the fight. And that's going to be basically a showcase. But yeah, that is basically the Liang Yue in higher tier content. So yeah, that's what she looks like. And of course, this is the teen damage breakdown. Flutter page really helped a lot here because of her splash effect. But yeah, this is what we did. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.